Good morning and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Wednesday, February 25th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are higher. We're up 0.38%, which is a nice way to start the day. I mean, the market really is focusing on corporate earnings. Particularly today when you have NVIDIA and Salesforce and other big tech companies releasing this afternoon. This is a big deal. Yesterday we saw a big rally back in some of these software stocks, mainly due to that Anthropic event where they emphasize partnerships over disruptive moves in AI. And that's actually positive because you see that they're going to be doing more deals with other organizations rather than just taking away their market share. Very positive. We also had President Trump's State of the Union address last night. It was extremely long. It was the longest ever. But I can't really say that there were any meaningful shifts in policy. That just didn't really happen. But, it's kind of like a non-event in terms of the market. It's going to be a lot of fodder for the news media today, but I didn't really see anything that really indicated this is something to take a look at. There was a comment about, doing a deal with tech firms to make sure that they create their own electricity for their data centers. I guess that's positive news. In deal news today, PayPal, it's moving higher amid reports that Stripe is considering an acquisition. That could be something. Warner Brothers, WBD, announced that Paramount has raised their bid to $31 per share. This deal is still in flux. They said they're going with Netflix, but, P Sky won't give up. They need this deal. They have to have this deal for them to, be a firm with some legs. On the earnings front, you get some, positive action coming in. Kava and YOU, Clear Secure, they're both trading higher after their earnings results. Workday, Lowe's, Hewlett Packard, they're all trading lower after their earnings. Not great. What else do we see? TJX also released their stocks trading a little lower, down about 0.8% this morning. But after the bell today, this is a big day because you got NVIDIA reporting, you got Salesforce.com, Synopsys, you got LG and Snowflake, and the Trade Desk. They're all set to release this afternoon, so we could expect to see some volatility with those releases. Okay, let's take a look and see what's happening overseas. And let's take a look at the DAX. The DAX is up by 0.39%, which is positive. And earnings, and gains in financials, that's what's really causing that market to move higher. FTSE's higher by 0.91%. I mean, it's also seeing gains in the major banks and mining names. That's really fueling that rally this morning. And the CAC in Paris is up 0.4%. I mean, their consumer confidence came in at 91, which is a touch above the December reading of 90, so that's positive. And banking shares remain the standout performers in the Paris market. Turning over to Asia last night, Asia was all green as well. I mean, the Nikkei had a solid day. I mean, it was up 2.20%. I mean, had a weaker yen, which boosted the export sentiment. You've got a feeling that you're getting lower tariffs. That helps as well. And what was rallying? Tech and AI stocks really had a good day in Tokyo overnight. Then you turn to Hong Kong, which was up 0.66%. You saw gains in financial and consumer stocks leading that advance. And then in China was up 0.72%. I mean, what was moving that stock? What was moving that market? Tech and AI stocks. Despite the renewed trade rhetoric, I mean, they look like their tariff rates are going down, and that's a positive for the Chinese markets, and that's helping to boost the sentiment, and that's why that market gained 0.72% overnight. Now we're looking at oil, and oil is, continues to climb. We're seeing gains in oil again, up about 0.8%. WTI is at $66.17 a barrel, whereas Brent is at $71.36 a barrel. Now, you have these talks that are scheduled tomorrow between Iran and the U.S. Iran feels that they got something to offer, and this is going to be such a good situation. The Trump administration, they got to get out of this thing. They're looking to make a deal, and I don't think the deal will be anything, greater than what the deal was that Trump ripped up in 2016. But I wouldn't be surprised if an agreement is reached, because I think both sides feel one is necessary. But then you have the API estimates. It showed a build in stockpiles of 11.4 million barrels last night. And these are just their estimates. I mean, that exceeded the expectations of a 1.85 million barrel build. But that unexpected increase is like 6 times larger than the forecast. So this morning you get the EIA data, so we'll have to wait and see if that correlates. But wow, the API data really did show a huge build in stockpiles last night. Okay, now we're looking over at earnings and we're seeing what's happened on the earnings front. We got Workday, which beat by 15 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. Stock's down 9.89%. You got Kava, ticker CAVA, which was our stock of the day yesterday. They beat by a penny, and they did it on higher revenue. That stock's up 9.66%. Then you got TJX, which beat by 5 cents, and they did it on higher revenue, but the stock's down 0.6% this morning. But after the bell today, you got NVIDIA. NVDA. EPS is $1.52. Expected move is 6.08%. You get Salesforce.com. EPS is $3.03. Expected move is 9.3%. You got LG and ticker A. Their EPS is $1.37. Expected move is 7.76% when they release. Okay, let's talk about the economic data for today. You get the new home sales coming out at 10 a.m. This is a delayed report. But then at 10:30, you get the EIA, oil stockpiles report. In terms of Fed speak, another good day. You get Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin speaking at 9:35. Then at 11, you're going to hear from Kansas City Fed Bank President Jeffrey Schmidt. And then at 1:20, we're going to hear from St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Mulsam. Let's take a look at these markets, see what we see here this morning, see if there's anything crazy going on. It looks like a mixed opening. I mean, we are seeing some, strong gains in, Amazon's trading higher. Netflix is showing some good gains this morning. What else is leading the charge? IBM up 1.69% this morning after yesterday's sell-off. United Healthcare showing gains as well. Interesting. Looking at some of the news behind the markets this morning. Apple. Remember, Apple had their shareholders meeting yesterday. One of the things that came out of it was Apple's MacBook Pro models are going to come out with touchscreens due out this fall. Google says the use of batteries made of iron to power a major data center in Minnesota. That's a development that could be a game changer for battery tech. In terms of Meta, CoreWeave is seeking an $8.5 billion loan from banks backed by Meta. That Meta deal that they have. Netflix trading higher in the WBD deal. I mean, listen, if Warner Brothers, changes direction and they have to, and they sign with Peace Guy, the fact is there's a payment, there's a penalty. They're going to have to pay Netflix for breaking the deal, and it's $31 a share, whereas in the Netflix is more like $27. Netflix is a better growth opportunity, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see if like the guys at Warner Brothers said could. They didn't say that they're going to change. They said this could change the deal. Warner Brothers deals guys are smart. What they're doing is they're just trying to get Netflix to come to the table and spend a little more money. If Netflix does, stock goes a little lower. If they don't, that stock could rally $10. If Netflix gets out of this deal, that stock would rally easy. Looking at Dow Jones 30 stocks, we're talking Microsoft. They announced that collaboration with Starlink. IBM, they're touting mainframe modernization approach amid AI spending surge. In terms of merger news, GlaxoSmithKline Beckham, GSK, they're buying 35 Pharma for $950 million. PayPal moving higher. Mid reports that they're going to be they could be taken over by Stripe, because Stripe is considering an acquisition of PayPal, PYPL. In terms of guidance news, TJX sees full year 2026 EPS coming in $4.93 to $5.02. Problem is the street estimate is $5.16. That's kind of a downtick. So earnings weren't bad, but that guidance is not stellar. But in terms of buyback news, let's talk TJX again, because they announced a new 3 billion share repurchasing program. Nice. In terms of catalyst calls, Citibank's out there calling it Corning, ticker GLW, a new 30-day upside catalyst watch. That's all I'm seeing. Okay, let's move on to our stock of the day, which Viteris is my stock of the day. That's ticker VRTS. Victor, Richard, Tom, Sam. Earnings are due tomorrow. Now, the EPS is 52 cents, and the expected move is 9.28%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 4,339 versus 2,259. not 2-1, but very strong. And then the open interest is 105K to 19K. That's really strong. And the brokers do like it. What brokers that are following it are positive on it. But, for me to get in the stock, I want to get in like the $138 range. That's kind of my sweet spot. So VRTS 138. That's my pick of the day. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the news that's hitting the tape in the last 15 minutes or so. See what we see. See what type of action we see. Uber announces Uber Air powered by Joby Aviation. Oh, that's interesting. NVO and Vivtex announced a partnership deal to develop oral obesity diabetes drugs. NASDAQ reaffirmed its 2026 guidance this morning. Circle Internet reports USDC in circulation grew 72% year over year. Shoe Carnival names a new interim CEO. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's talk about yesterday's action. Our stock pick from yesterday, which was Kava Group, CAVA. I mean, look at the numbers. Stock opened up at 67.19, which was below my entry price, and then it hit a high. It ran to a high of 69.60. So the 1% was there yesterday during the day. It did close at 67.80. So even if you had an opening price, you made your 1% there essentially. But you look at the stock this morning, it's trading 74.60, which is a big, huge move. So, Kava trading higher easily beat the 1%. That was a good pick. All right, traders, that concludes today's podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.